Hi everybody. We have our trench. So today we're going to be hopefully filling a lot of this in. We're going to start at that end because we've got the level of the corner of the house there, and we want to just make sure that, well, it's kind of arbitrary, but we figured we may as well make the footings the same height as that. But we're going to do a few calculations first just on the height of the blocks, make sure that they get us to where we want to be. If we need the footings to be slightly higher or lower, we'll adjust. Yeah, so hopefully today there'll be a lot of cleaning up. A lot of the way the digger left the footings, they're not super clean. We may need to come this way a little bit, we may need to go that way a little bit, we're not entirely sure. We've got some perforated pipe to run down this side wall, but I can tell already that there isn't quite the space here, so we'll want to square this off somewhat. So I think overall the footings are pretty close to being in the right spot. And it's still, I think you can see that very rough hole for where the steps are going to go. And it does encroach a little bit into the garden, but given that we had that mountain of water butts and plants here and it still felt fine, I don't think it'll be a problem having a nice set of steps there. And once all this rubble's gone, that's going to widen the place out again. So yeah, let's see how we go. Here we go, we have our ballast, 3 bags of ballast, 10 cement to get us started, 30 blocks to get us started, a bag of sand for the mortar and some plasticizer. That lot is about, I think it was 450-ish. So it's, in terms of ballast, it's enough ballast and hopefully enough, no, it's not enough cement, it's enough ballast to do the foundations. It's half the cement for the foundations. Maybe a third, and then we need more cement for the mortar, and it's just enough block to get us the first run of block all the way around so we can get out the ground. But we will probably hopefully get another delivery in a week. We'll see how we get on. So we were able to pick up this perforated pipe for free from a local farm that we kind of know from our network, from our market gardening days. 10 centimeter pipe. So this is what we're going to be running behind the wall, behind the cinder block wall, not behind the stone wall, because that's going to have loads of places for water to escape. Ideal. I'm not going to bring this down yet because it's bulky and we haven't got that much room down there. So I just need to know 10 centimeters. So I want to be coming 14 centimeters off the wall all the way along. Okay, so now we know our pipe is 10 centimeters. We want to be coming 40 centimeters off the wall. So I'm actually happy with that. It doesn't look like much here, but when you get it from a side angle, you'll see, but the space we've got here should be plenty. And for the rest of the wall as well, plenty. We might even chip away a little bit further that way up that end. And we will be starting at this end. So what I need to do is go down here. I couldn't get the scoop to go any further. I couldn't get any closer, but it is what it is. I'm going to go down as far as I can, and we'll have concrete down here and up there. We're going to put posts attached to the wall and then cemented in, because it is lower there, so I've got room to cement. And we've got, you can probably just see, there's a concrete lip here, and that actually runs along halfway, so we can go into that. And essentially what we'll do is we'll put a battened, nice looking little battened fence all the way along there. Next step is, I think, some string lines. Grab a block or two just to come and sort of offer them up and see what they look like, and we will start cleaning up this corner. Right, these things are significantly heavier than I thought they would be. Let's get this rebar out of the way. We'll put that up there for now, and it will fall all the way down and hit the camera. I realise that I'm making this up as I go along, but it's such a weird little wall and the ground is so hard. I mean, that's just rock there, that's literally rock. So I'm kind of just going to take away the loose stuff and pour onto the rock at this point, because there's no point digging rock out to put concrete in. We have actually got this not far off where we want everything, which is amazing considering how rough it looks. So let's do a return literally there. Well, actually we're going to come off that 10 centimeters there, so I'm going to just mark up the wall so I know that's the point at which I want the wall to be coming off of. So that's what we've been left with, is this L here. So actually right up to that line there, this line here is kind of where we want the wall, but we'll bring the footing out 10 centimeters. So that's the first job, is to tidy this up, cut that down as far as we can. As I was saying, that is solid rock there. So I'm not going to be hammering this out. I'm just going to go on top of it, because I'm bearing in mind this was the actual ground level. We already dug all this way down. You can see the layers of rock in here, and then this is just solid rock at this point. So we're going to take all the loose stuff off there, just sort of chip away at it, brush it away, bring ourselves back to somewhere about here initially, so about 1.5 meters, and then we'll shutter this section off and start our pour this afternoon. Okay, we've done a little bit of digging, not here. I just want to show you basically what it did look like down here. Was obviously lots of loose stuff. We've chiseled this corner back to bedrock basically. So I'll grab my thing. This is rock. So even though it doesn't look very deep where we are now, it's from how high up we're going to be bringing it, it's about 9 inches deep. Once we get to here, it's more like 20 inches deep. You can see I'm using this block as a width for the footings, rightly or wrongly. But obviously we're going to put the actual blocks lengthways, so it should give us a good amount of footing either side and a bit of wiggle room. And you can see the string lines to another block at the other end. You should just about to be able to see them all the way up over there. And you can see we're okay to start with. We need to take a little bit more out here, a lot more out there, but that's definitely tomorrow's problem. Okay, we have scraped out all we can scrape out. I will give it a light brush and we'll hose it before we pour any concrete. And you can see, so this yellow line here is actually level with the side over there. So I'm going to use that as my point for now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to use this end because it's so close to the edge. I will lose a bit of material, but I have accounted for that in what I've bought. And this is 40 centimeters wide, which again I think is plenty for what we're doing. And you can see actually that we've got way more room in the end from here to here for where we bury our for where we bury our perforated pipe. I need to stop pointing with the microphone. Bit of a break there while we kind of deliberated over the best way to do this. I have cleaned back on this rock. You can see this is rock as far as I can. I'm just sweeping out some of this dust, and I'll wet the whole thing before anything goes in. But this is just rock at this point. It looks like an archaeology dig. So I'm happy with that as a footing. So I will keep sweeping this stuff out. I've picked up some rebar, which is 3 meters long. I'm going to do like a bend at that end and round. We can do 2 pieces, and you can see it comes up to here at the moment, but I'm going to clear up to where the yellow post hole digger is, because that's where the rebar will dangle. And I'm going to like block off here with just rock and some planks so that I can concrete up to that point, and then it will leave my rebar poking out and I can attach to that. Okay, so we've got some rebar in. We've got some very shonky shuttering at the end in an attempt to stop the concrete going out. I'm going to make sure that when I put concrete down that end, it's a relatively drier mix, so it won't sluice through as much. It's not ideal, but we need to get cracking. Hello. So it's now Sunday afternoon. We have started our pour, which is awesome. As you could see from the footage yesterday, I got a bit bogged down in the details, trying to shutter everything off and could the OSB fit. We got the return done at this end, and we've done about 2 meters of it. It's great to be able to get the first lump done. So I'm going to come back out again later on. This bit here needs a little bit of material taken away. I've actually gone too deep there, so I'm going to rake a lot of that out and just square this section off, and that's where the stairs will be. And then at the same time, next week we'll be able to come back up this end and start roughly laying out our block. So there'll be one there, and then it will immediately return, and we'll just start the run all the way along. We should be able to get some laid as well, because this end will have gone off completely. We won't be able to go all the way to the other end. Sorry about the wind. I wonder if this new little fuzzy mic filters some of that wind out. We'll find out. Yeah, but we're going to crack on. are back in the trench today. It's the following weekend. We weren't able to get any aggregate delivered until next week just because it's really busy, and obviously I forgot to order it in time. So we haven't got enough to fill the stairs area, which is quite big. So this is where the stairs will be. So they're going to go from there, that will be squared off, and it's this whole bit, and that takes us up there, and will give us our half of it will be steps, and then there'll be a landing, and there'll be steps going up, cut into the ground up there that we'll worry about next year, but we're just going to get this bit done. So what we are going to do is we're going to find our level, bring it across to here, and then we're going to do this trench today because we have got enough aggregate. I've got to go and pick up some cement, but we can get this bit here done. We can actually use it at that point to work out where the wall is going to run from up here all the way down to there. We can string line out the wall. Potentially tomorrow we'll have enough cement, and we've got mortar, sand and everything, so we could even start laying some block tomorrow. If I do that, I'll have to pick up a bit of rebar today, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah, so let's try and make some progress this weekend. Even though we can't get that in, we can make a bit of progress. And obviously we don't want this dragging out over too many videos because pouring concrete in the ground isn't the most riveting of things. But if we can get this bit done today, Tuesday the delivery for that comes, so through the week next week I'll get that all done, and then hopefully in next week's video we'll be in a position where we're doing something a bit more interesting. Maybe we'll have started a bit of the dry stone wall, or maybe we'll have started a bit of block. We'll see where we are. We're bringing the wall's going to start where that shovel is, so I've got to backfill a little bit up to that point, try and put something securely in there to backfill against so it doesn't just pour in here. And then I'm going to shutter off this side so that we're only filling that bit there. And I reckon that piece was 8 mixes, just a bit, not quite enough, but only because it's split, so the level dropped a tiny bit. But that was 8 mixes, so if that was 8, this bit here is probably going to be maybe 12 if we're honest. So I'll measure out. I might come back up a little bit and give a bit of a return on it, and then when we do pour that bit, it can back in there. We'll try and work it out so it's no more than 12 mixes. See how we go. Now we've got the final footing set up for this section, which is what we're aiming for today. I reckon it's probably going to be 10 to 12 mixes. There's our stairs that are going to go in through the week. And what we've actually decided to do, I didn't mention before, was originally the wall was going to be about 6 blocks high. You can see we've already got a little bit here. I've had to move some, but the plan now is to only go 4 blocks high, which will bring it to sort of chest height, be sort of there, and then make this bit here into like a big raised bed that goes all the way up to where the stairs are. The stairs will then go across the top of that, and then across the back here. Again, this is technically a retaining wall, but there is nothing moving here. This stuff here has not moved in 8 years. The only time it ever moves is if you pull the brambles out of it, which we will do one final time and wrap all of this in weed membrane all the way along. And then the fencing, the kind of battened fencing we were going to do up the side there, we'll continue that along the top for like 2 foot along the top here, that will then end where the stairs are, and that helps to tie that into that. And it also means this wall is less imposing, because once we stacked the blocks at 6 high, it kind of felt very big. But that also means that we're going to save about 2/3 of the block we needed, 2/3 of the backfill concrete. We will need a little bit less rebar because we'll be able to cut each bar in half and drill in and bury it, whereas previously it was going to be, we would needed one whole bar and have lots of short offcuts. So it's going to save us several £100s over the course of the whole thing. But yeah, again, thank you everyone for watching. Please, please, please like and subscribe. It would really help us to get some subscribers, just because if you're watching this kind of content and this is what you're into, once you subscribe, YouTube will say, these guys like this kind of content. It will push it out to other people who like the stuff you like. It'll help to spread the channel. And of course, if you've got any advice, if you can spot the things like the glaringly obvious things I'm doing wrong, please comment, because there's still time for me to change certain things. So yeah, it would be great if you could just say, don't do that, or make sure you don't forget to do this in the comments below. That'd be awesome. And thanks again, and we'll play out the last bit of the video with a little time lapse of finishing this off, and we'll see you again next week.